Knights of the Nine is a questline in Oblivion Remastered that offers many rewards. This includes a full set of enchanted armor and weapons that can be repaired and recharged for free, a great home base to store loot, several NPC followers, and plenty of character buffs, all of which will be covered in this guide. As usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. In order to start this questline, we will need to fast travel to the Anvil Castle Gate, located near Cyrodiil's west coast. Approaching the chapel there, we may have a conversation initiated with us by a nearby guard. In addition, there should be a prophet shouting out his sermon. After we're done talking with the guard, we'll need to speak with the prophet, asking first about the Anvil Chapel attack, and eventually saying that we will quest for the relics. In order to progress the quest, we need to say, "No, I have no claim to fame," when prompted. Doing so should get us the Wayshrine's map and progress the pilgrimage quest to the next step. The map indicates 9 Wayshrines for the various deities that we will need to visit in order to advance to the next quest. This map can be found in the miscellaneous section of the inventory and bound to a shortcut for easier access. However, I will also be showing the precise locations of each shrine on the in-game map to hopefully make them easier for you all to find than they were for me. We'll start with Arkay's shrine, which can be found northeast of Anvil. Just west of Skingrad is the shrine to Mara. Moving on, we will find Dibella's shrine a short distance south of Chorrol. For the 4th shrine, which is dedicated to Akatosh, we will need to carefully scale south down the mountainside from Bruma. Moving south of the Imperial City, we'll find the Wayshrine of Talos within the Great Forest. Not far southeast of there is Zenithar's Wayshrine. Also, at some point, you may encounter a fellow pilgrim by the name of Sir Roderick and his squire. Both are friendly and we should not attack them. Moving towards the southern region of the map, we'll find Stendarr's Wayshrine south of Bravil. The Wayshrine of Julianos is located closer to the Imperial City, just southeast of it. To reach the final Wayshrine, that of Kynareth, we will need to continue southeast down the nearby road, eventually going off trail. This final Wayshrine is near the edge of a pond. Interacting with all 9 Wayshrines will unlock the Pilgrim's Grace spell, which can temporarily boost all major stats 1 time per day, and will also advance the Knights of the Nine Questline. After a short cutscene plays out, we'll be given a new quest, the Shrine of the Crusader. This will direct us to a sunken dungeon, Vanua, located on the southeast side of the Imperial City Lake. Once inside, we'll need to first move north into a large chamber where we can find and activate a block on the western wall. We'll then move further north and down the path that follows, eventually reaching the Shrine of the Crusader. Moving through this area, we should eventually reach a central chamber where the skeleton of Sir Amiel can be found. We'll need to loot Sir Amiel's key, ring, and journal, then make our way down the western path. We'll need to make a brief detour through the Lost Catacombs before returning to the Shrine of the Crusader. In this new elevated area, we'll find the first piece of our enchanted armor set, which is the Helm of the Crusader. With that in hand, we can make our way south, returning to the open world. I'll go ahead and let the rest of my egress play out for anyone that is having trouble finding the exit. Our next destination is the Priory of the Nine. After completing the Knights of the Nine questline, the containers in this location will become safe for storing items, but that is not the case as of now. In the meantime, we'll want to equip Sir Amiel's ring and interact with the Knights of the Nine symbol on the ground and to our left as we enter the Priory. This will open a hidden staircase to the basement and Undercroft. At the back of the Undercroft is an armor stand with the Cuirass of the Crusader. Approaching it will trigger a multi-stage fight in which we will need to defeat several ghosts of former knights. Once that's accomplished, we can speak with Sir Amiel and then claim our reward. Afterwards, we'll need to speak with and gather information from the various ghost knights to begin a series of quests, which will see us collecting various pieces of the Crusader armor set. We'll want to save Stendarr's Mercy for last, as completing it will also give us an annoying debuff that lasts throughout most of the remaining questline. The first quest we will complete is Wisdom of the Ages, which requires us to venture through Fort Bulwark, located in southern Cyrodiil. This is to find the Shield of the Crusader. Feel free to take your time and explore this dungeon fully on your own, but for the sake of making this walkthrough easier to follow, I'm going to ignore enemies and loot and just focus on the main objective. We'll need to move south at the first forked path, then through the double doors to the west. Across the winding bridges is another set of double doors. Going along the path that follows, we will eventually reach the northernmost chamber, where we need to interact with a turn handle. This will open a nearby gate, giving us access to a path that leads to a second turn handle. Interacting with that will lower a pair of bridges. To reach those, we'll need to double back a short distance to the chamber with the winding bridges. The lowered bridges will be to the north of the intersection. On the other side is a floor plate puzzle where pressure plates need to be stepped on in a specific order, while avoiding the others. The order is left, middle, right, and left. Stepping on them in this order will open the way ahead. Moving through this next hallway, we will take a moment to free Sir Thedret from a nearby prison cell. We can speak with and recruit Thedret to our cause before moving on. After moving through a pair of double doors, we will go down the path to the west. We'll then need to turn south and go up a staircase, moving through the corridor that follows. Entering a new chamber, we can climb another staircase to our north, and the first bridge here is lowered by a turn handle. I wasn't sure how to lower the second bridge, but I found an easy workaround where I removed my heavy armor so that I could jump higher, then just jumped across the gap. Redonning my armor, I cleared out the enemies in the next chamber, the one with the 4 statues, before proceeding. To advance, we just need to use the turn handles at the base of each statue until all are looking at the central symbol on the ground. Upon doing that, a new path to the south will open. Following it will take us to a chamber full of chests. For this puzzle, we'll need to repeatedly take various items from the central chest and place each in their corresponding perimeter chests. The puzzle is intended to be solved through memorization and guesswork, but I think the order of items to put in each chest stays the same across games. If that is the case, here's the solution, starting with the northwest chest and moving counterclockwise around the room. The first chest is where Rodgar's gem must be placed. The second chest is where his skull goes. The third chest is where the hammer goes. In the fourth chest, we need to put Rodgar's book. Rodgar's sword goes in the fifth chest. Rodgar's goblet goes in the next chest. In the seventh chest is Rodgar's helm. And in the final chest is Rodgar's stone. Once all of Rodgar's items have been placed in their corresponding chests, the final chamber will open, and we can go claim the Shield of the Crusader, along with several potions and other valuables. We can then make our way out of the fort, and I'll just let the rest of this play out for anyone that needs help finding their way. Next up, let's complete Nature's Fury, which will have us venture to an unmarked shrine west of the Imperial City. There, we'll need to speak with Avida Vesnia, ask about the test to be completed, and eventually agree to undergo it. This will cause a new map marker to pop up a short distance further west. Standing exactly on the marker will start the test, and we'll need to avoid attacking the bear named Forest Guardian for a few seconds. Doing this will successfully complete the test and open a nearby passage to Kynareth's grotto. Inside, we'll find the boots of the Crusader. With the boots in hand, we'll need to travel to the chapel in Leyawiin for the Path of the Righteous quest. Entering the chapel will trigger a dialogue with Kynareth, and we can then find and question Avarice about the Mace of Zenithar to progress the quest. We'll then need to make our way down to the chapel Undercroft, which has several friendly ghosts that we can safely ignore, and interact with the tomb of Saint Calidus. If we haven't already done so, we'll need to equip the boots of the Crusader in order to safely cross the gap and obtain the Mace of the Crusader. Before leaving the chapel, we'll need to dispatch several Aurorans. They disappear shortly after they are all defeated, so make sure to loot them of valuables as you go through them. Once the fighting is over, Kynareth will initiate another conversation, and it is at this point that we can recruit him to the Knights. With that, we'll make our way to the chapel in Chorrol to complete Stendarr's Mercy. Make sure you are committed to completing the entire questline of the Knights of the Nine before proceeding, as completing this quest will get us an annoying debuff until we are basically done with the entire questline. After entering the Chapel of Stendarr, we will need to find and speak with Ereldur. We can ask about the story and curse behind the Gauntlets of the Crusader, then go to the Chapel Hall to find Kellen. We'll need to speak with Kellen and ask about Ereldur, then return to Ereldur and ask about Kellen. Once we've done that, we can activate the Altar of the Nine to learn the Lay Hand spell. We can then return to Kellen one last time, equip the Lay Hand spell, and cast it on him. Doing so will allow us to retrieve the Gauntlets of the Crusader from the northwest corner of the main chapel area. You may notice that we are still missing the Greaves and sword of the Crusader. For those, we'll need to return to the Priory of the Nine. Upon entering, Lathan will initiate a conversation with us. During this interaction, we'll obtain the Greaves of the Crusader, learn of the sword's location, and also have the opportunity to recruit Lathan as a knight. The location of the final relic is Underpall Cave, located north of the Imperial City. There is a whole other section to this dungeon to explore, but for the purposes of this guide, I will be focusing just on how to get the sword of the Crusader. To start, we'll head through the initial cave area to reach the Underpall Keep. Once inside, we'll move down the path to the west-southwest, which will eventually take us to the Underpall Reflecting Chamber. Before reaching the actual reflecting pool, we will run across Roderick's body. He sometimes carries enchanted items, so be sure to check him before moving on. Just beyond, we will find the ghost of Lord Barrick, wielding the sword of the Crusader. After defeating him and eluding the cursed sword, we'll need to make our escape, and I'll let the rest of this walkthrough play out for anyone that might need it. All that's left for us to do is to go to the Chapel of Arkay at Cheydinhal. After defeating another group of Aurorans, we can interact with the Altar of the Nine to reconsecrate the Sword of the Crusader. With that done, we now have the full set of Crusader armor and weapons. Returning to the Priory, we can enter the chapel and speak with the Prophet to learn the Blessing of Talos, a spell that would be required to complete our final task. We'll also be cured of our curse that we acquired in obtaining the Gauntlets of the Nine. Before heading off to complete our final quest, we'll want to spend some time speaking with and recruiting the various assembled NPCs, as doing so might not be possible once the questline is completed, at least for some of the NPCs. Our final destination is Garlas Malatar, located at the west edge of Cyrodiil. Once again, feel free to take your time moving through and looting this dungeon, but I found the best way to keep everyone alive is by moving quickly. Doing so will also hopefully make this guide easier to follow. Moving into the first chamber, we will need to push a block, then move down the northern passage. Several Aurorans will be waiting for us in the next major chamber, and we will need to move down another passage leading north. This will take us to a new area with an expansive chamber. There is a shield door behind a central platform and several Aurorans. The Aurorans will keep reviving until we destroy the orb that is on the elevated platform. To reach it, we'll need to move counterclockwise around the platform and through a nearby passageway. Destroying the orb will lower the shield wall and allow us to access the final area of this dungeon. There are a few more Aurorans in this final stretch, and we'll want to defeat them all and heal up before entering the final chamber, where a boss fight with Umaril will be initiated. Upon completion of this next step, we will be instantly transported out of the dungeon, so make sure to loot Umaril's unique claymore and any nearby chests beforehand. Once ready, equip and use the Blessing of Talos spell. Afterwards, we will need to defeat Umaril one last time. This is followed by a short speech from the Ghost Knights of the Nine. Afterwards, we can pray at the various tombs of the knights to gain unique stat boosts. I prefer to use Zenithar's Blessing, which boosts luck by 5. Also, something really useful is that storing the Crusader's armor and weapons on the armor stand in the Undercroft will completely heal them to 100 durability and recharge the enchantment on both weapons. It also raises the level of the gear to your current level, so be sure to return occasionally and make use of this benefit. If we follow Sir Thedret outside, he'll give one final speech with the other still living knights at attention. This brings the Knights of the Nine Questline to an end. As a reward, we can now use the Priory and any storage containers inside to safely store items. The only exception is ingredients, which the knights will pilfer and eat. We also have our own personal chapel and altar to use for curing diseases and other negative status conditions. I also found a free chestnut horse to use roaming nearby, which is an unexpected but welcomed bonus. Finally, we can speak to any of the knights that we recruited and have them follow and fight alongside us in our adventures. If you want to see more great guides, you can head over to my channel, and if you're new, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day. If you're here today, have a great Friday and a great weekend. And as always, thanks for watching.